YouTube, what it is, what it do, what's up? My name is Noah. Welcome to my booktube, What Noah Reads, and let's get into it. So we're gonna do our first book review / recommendation, but this one's gonna be a little bit different. So let's get to it. So the topic of discussion today is gonna be this series, Batman, 3 Jokers, right? Now I will tell y'all quick little story time. These came out in 2020. So at the time, that was just put it in your head. At that time, everybody was home, but stores were still open. And this comic book store, they had, so there's 3, because it corresponds to the 3 Jokers. This one is book 2. Put that in focus. There you go. And then this one is book 3, right? I couldn't get book 1. They was just fresh out, freshly published, and there was a dude. I'll link him down there if you want to go to his videos as well. That I like seeing his breakdown. Was it? It may have been before or after or right then. I know this was connected to it, but I had heard about him, and then I was like, yeah, from somewhere, and I was like, yeah, let me get him. I may have gotten on his video after. Either way, that's a good one that y'all can head over to. But it's got the Joker cards on the back. It was $6.99 at the time, and as y'all see, age is 17 and up. So if you're 17 and other, shoot. Just like what was his name? Or Home Alone, Harry, when the pigeons was in the way, he was like, get out of here. All right. So before we get into this is what this is going to be about. The Joker, I'm going to talk about the Joker and the Batman, just to give y'all a brief history and brief connection in relation to these stories, right? So the Batman and the Joker in the world, but specifically I'm gonna just say the United States right now, they're the most prevalent and the most prominent hero versus villain archetype above everybody. Everybody knows who Batman is, and everybody knows who the Joker is. Some people may not have heard of the Penguin. Some people may not have heard of the Riddler. Just to give y'all a little, I'm not gonna really go into depth, right? But DC was running shit for a good minute. So the Batman and the Joker, this is before all the Marvel and the Avengers and the Endgame. No shade to Stan Lee. No shade to him. I don't want nobody coming at me, but I'm a big supporter of DC Comics. So, but specifically with the Batman and the Joker, with me, my perspective, and I understand their back and forth has everything to do with your mind. So let me break it down for you. So the conscious mind and the subconscious mind are dealing with your conscious mind, the left brain, and the subconscious mind is the right brain. The conscious mind is considered the masculine brain, the left brain, the left mind. That has everything to do with logic, rationale, reason, what makes sense. Is connected to the 5 senses. It's connected to what you do when you're awake, right? It's connected to daily life, pretty much, dealing with the physical realm, right? And you have the subconscious mind, which is the right brain, which is the right mind, and is also considered the feminine mind, which has everything to do with has everything to do with like the intuition, the imagination, creativity, the abstract, holistic thinking versus like things broken apart. It has everything to do with artistic. It has is connected to emotions, It's also connected to, he about to hit that. Yep. Bruh. Anywho, it's connected to, like what I said, the feminine principle, which the feminine principle, and we're going to put that in this context, has everything to do with chaos. The masculine principle has everything to do with order. The principle, take man, woman out of it. That's the principle, and that's what they're associated with. So these two are the most prominent back and forth in terms of comics, the hero versus the villain. Now, the what I'm going to tie it into, which is going to lead all the way up to these stories. One of the most powerful scenes in cinema, period, in film, in my perspective, was in The Dark Knight, when of course it starts off with Commissioner Gordon meeting with the Joker, Heath Ledger. Shout out to him, R.I.P. He played the hell out of that role. It starts out with him. They finally got the Joker. They finally got him. That's what, oh man, we got him in here. Cool. He's in the interrogation room and it's dark. He starts talking to Commissioner Gordon, and he's trying to tell him, don't you think you should be, and well, first Commissioner Gordon is asking, like, where's Harvey Dent? What's going on with him, man? And then pretty much he's which is funny, the Joker was like, what time is it? And then Commissioner Gordon is like, what does that matter? And he's like, well, it matters because based on what time it is, he could either be in one piece or several pieces. If you've seen the movie, you know, I ain't gonna spoil it after that. But I'm only gonna break down this scene in relation to everything. After that, that's when they have their little conversation or whatever, and then Commissioner Gordon is talking about, I'm gonna just go get some coffee. And then he leaves, and then Batman is in the room. The Joker didn't know or whatever. So Batman, slams his head, blah, 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 slams his hand, and then they get to talking. This is where it's the most powerful, and this is why it's in the connection with the mind. This is what we're going to talk about. So in that scene, they get to the point or whatever, and pretty much Batman is, trying to ask him, like, what's going on. This is like his main thing. Like, I finally got a hold on the Joker. So it leads up to the point where the Joker is like, why do you want to, the Batman is like, why do you want to kill me? And then the Joker is like, I don't want to kill you. What would I do without you? And then what did he say? He was like, you complete me. So this leads into the mind conversation. So breaking down their whole story. Well, we can even break down that scene further, because it goes right into, he's like, they think the Joker pretty much starts breaking it down to him like, you're a freak, just like me. And as soon as they're done with you, mean Commissioner Gordon and all, the only reason they like you right now is because you're only helping people out, getting people and cleaning up Gotham, quote unquote. The streets of Gotham from all the criminals and everything, right? You're filling up the jails, right? You're getting everybody in jail, cleaning up the streets, right? And you're helping them out. But in the proper context, he's really telling them, like, at the end of the day, you look just like me. Because when they're done with you, you're gonna be cast out, and what he said, like a leper, which pretty much you're going to be just like us, right? I'm trying to tell you ahead of time, like, there's no difference between me and you. Like, and then he was like, because their morals and their code as, cops of the city or whatever, he's trying to tell them, like, it only goes so far as to if things are going good for them. And this is all in context with the film as well. Like, there's crooked cops, there's corrupt cops, and then this is why Commissioner Gordon, he was also talking to Commissioner Gordon, like, you got people, on Maloney's payroll, and you out here thinking that you doing good. Y'all asking me for this shit. Like, who's really in control? But at the end of the day, in that scene, when he breaks that down to Batman, he's like, and then he's breaking it down. He's like, all of this. He's like, I'm not a monster. He was like, and then this is when he really gets under Batman's skin. He's like, I'm not a monster. He was like, I'm just ahead of the curve. Now this is in context with the books, the Batman, the Three Jokers, and the entire Batman versus Joker archetype or battle, if you will. So, getting into it, the reason why the Batman does not like the Joker, and the reason why the Joker said it in there, he was like, what would I do without you? You complete me. The main conversation, or the main point in that conversation was, you're just like me. So this is where these books come in. But even in the movie, he's trying to break this. This is literally their entire fight. And I'm going to break it down into, this is why you're mine. This is what in connection with your mind. The Joker is always, remember, he's saying you're just like me. Like there's nothing wrong with us being criminals. You're just like us, because at the end of the day, you have a mask on. Like Bruce Wayne, I know who you are. I know who your daddy is. I know who your mama is. I know they got killed. I know they got shot. I know who shot them. I know your entire origin story. Because in the comics, the Joker is a genius. He's a genius. Like, he's only a madman, and he only evades, and he only gets on Batman's nerves because he literally represents chaos. Like, you don't know my next move. This is where, and I'm going to leave it at this, because this, in these books, this story, I'm so sorry for y'all. I ain't got the book one. In this story, it starts off, the whole thing starts off where there's 3 murders that happen at the same exact time. And it's all been reported that the Joker did the murders. Like, somebody saw the Joker, he was nearby, and it was his fault. So automatically, he's already getting everybody scratching their heads like, oh my God, the Joker, oh my God, what Joker, we all this time we thought there was one, and there's 3 of them. Does he have brothers? Are these in connection with the mask? Who are they? Man, we're gonna have to figure out, are they triplets? What are they? Automatically from page 1, everybody's head, once they figure out where there's 3 Jokers going on, it's automatic chaos. That is the impact. That's the automatic impact that the Joker always has on the Joker. Because out of all the villains, the Joker is the one that always speaks directly to Batman. So getting back to what we were saying, the Joker always knows that no matter what you may be thinking, in terms of you believing that you are just some upstanding citizen, I don't give a damn if you Bruce Wayne's son. I don't give a damn if you a part of Wayne Enterprises. This is your daddy shit. I don't care where you came from. The fact that you got a mask, the fact that you out here trying to fight all of us, the fact that nobody really knows your true identity, and you're just like us. But the most important relating factor is, and this is the key message of the Joker in all of his stories, but mainly when it gets up to Batman, it only takes 1 day for shit to just go haywire. This is why, and I'm gonna tie it into personal things, and this is why it's gonna affect the mind. This is why emotional intelligence is important. This is why respecting the feminine principle. And this is why a man who goes through stress, the only reason why anybody can be thinking he's a man is because everybody knows a man is supposed to go through stress. But the fact that he got through it means there were times in these situations and circumstances where the emotions, some people look at him, oh, he's a man's man. Because not every man can handle that. Not every man can handle that stress, handle that level of emotional upheaval. understand that chaos of emotions, like, and be able to manage it and put it in its proper place, not bury it, not ignore it, like put it and transmute it and put it into something productive. Like I'm gonna figure out the problem, I'm gonna find the solution, and we're gonna get it going. So the key thing is why emotional intelligence is important, because emotions are energy in motion. And energy in motion means, or emotional intelligence being important means you are intelligent of how, or how your emotions move, right? You know how to move them, you know where they come from, you know their source, and you know how to put them in their proper place. So, and unmet needs coming from most likely your childhood environment and trauma, right, lead to unresolved emotions. You start to favor behaviors out of ignorance, and then there's some things that are unresolved that you go through, and you go through them, and they just all of a sudden just burst out of nowhere. This is where you get people having bursts of emotions like out of nowhere. Oh, I thought he was a nice guy. Or you get people just murdering people out of nowhere. You get people who become quote unquote serial killers or rapists or murderers or any type of crime or any type of violent activity or anything of that nature. And you figure out that it was one thing that made them snap. Like one day that made them snap. There was a backstory. But all it takes is one thing to just just say like, oh, I give up. Like seeing people snap. This is the reason why in terms of emotional intelligence, if your needs are unmet and your emotions are unresolved, even that energy is still within you and it still has to go somewhere. This is why you have to deal with your emotions. You have to face yourself. This is why all success stories come from somebody facing themselves and understanding, I got to take accountability for this. It may not have been my fault, but it's my responsibility. So if those emotions are not resolved, that means what? It's going to lead to chaos. That anything can happen. If you're not directing the energy, that means it can go in any which way direction. You're not doing anything with it. That means that's when, like what I said, you get sudden outbursts. You get things that just happen out of nowhere. You get killing sprees. You get all of these activities that just happen out of nowhere. Or even like what we see, and this is where people get it twisted about homeless people. Just keeping it real. Nobody woke up and said they wanted to be homeless. Nobody said, man, oh man, I want to be out here, man. I want to be out here getting some money from somebody. Oh, I don't even gotta work. I want to be, nobody wants to be out here with tents and all of this. Everybody has an origin story. Everybody has a story as to why they are the way they are. And this is why, what? Doesn't that sound like something they used to tell us when we was kids? What did they tell you myths were? Myths are stories that tell us why the world is the way it is. That's what they made us memorize. Then you get old and then start Mythbusters. Then you get started going through debunking myths or 5 myths about so and so. Myths. This is what led ancient societies who built up shit to today that baffles everybody's mind still to the day, thousands of years after. But myths aren't real. Myths are where the hero and the villain started. This is where Heru was going against Set in ancient mythology in Kemet, or what they like to call Egypt. This is where Heru is avenging his father because Set wanted his place. Set got rid of his brother Osiris and cut him into 14 pieces, spread it across the world, and then his wife Osiris is also called Asar, and Aset is known as Isis. And then Offset, she was the one that through magic or whatever, she pretty much was able to take his penis or whatever, and even if he was dead, through magic was able to what? Birth Haru. Haru is what? Also hero. So in regards to the context, these comic books are only myths that tell you why the world is the way it is. Everybody likes reading these stories and like, oh man, that's great. No, it's telling you in story form. That's how really ancient societies too learned most of their shit. You either learned it in song, you learned it around the campfire, or you learned it through the society's mythology. This is why the world is the way it is. And this is why you see in what the hero's journey, or the hero with 1,000 faces by Joseph Campbell, right? You read them books like that, and it shows you what, that all of these things, all of these ancient societies had a similar story as to why things are the way they are, but they only look different because, of course, they're in different environments, right? So some people are in the cold, some people are in the hot. So they're not gonna have the same exact story, but it's still pulling on the mentality and what it is in terms of what's happening in the mind. So getting back to the hero and the villain between the Joker and the Batman, Joker he represents chaos. He represents unlimited possibilities. He represents anything can happen, and anything can go wrong, and anything can go right. This is why a lot, along with his archetypes, he is a mad, quote unquote madman, but he's also a genius, because he put all of his emotions and all of that trauma into what? His craft, which is what? Quote unquote crime. Now, when we're talking about him and Batman, he's always the whole fight against him when he's like, you complete me. Batman gives the Joker a reason to exist, because when they're talking about, if you really want a chaos order, Batman is only, and this is what represents, and this is why it ties into us as individuals. Batman represents the hero, the protagonist, the everybody. Oh yeah, man, go. He represents that character in the story of like everybody is rooting for him. This is why once the Joker shows up, just like he showed up in the story, or showed up to the party with why is her name not coming? Rachel comes up in the dark night, shows up to the party and starts telling him like my daddy is the one that put these marks on my face. Like, why so serious, son? Like, and this is why the Joker has many different origin stories, because it really doesn't matter what the fuck happened to him. He still represents, like, in all of them stories that he says, whether it was my daddy that put these marks on me and that's why I snapped, or like what he was like, he was a failed comedian. That's the main one. He was a comedian. He was a comedian who nobody laughed at his jokes. This is Get Out of Joaquin Phoenix's one. He was a comedian who nobody laughed at his jokes. He was a failed comedian. He had a wife at home. She was pregnant, and they had to get money. And his ex, and he's like, man, I got to get this going. I got to get this going. He comes and so long story short, so pretty much he comes along this story of like, this is what pretty much these two dudes get around him or whatever, and are trying to hey, I got something for you. And then long story short, what they try to get him to do, it goes wrong. He drops into a pool of chemical mix or whatever, and that's how he get the green hair and blah 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 blah. Either which way, his story is of, it only takes one day for something to go wrong. And he's trying to, this is why he's saying, like, you're just like me. Just because you put this mask on, Bruce, your daddy and your mama got shot. Everybody knows the Wayne Enterprises got transferred to you. You out here jumping and damn flying off of damn buildings with your cape and your mask on. Just say that you're one of us. You keep thinking that you're trying to fight us. You keep trying to separate from us. All of us have the same story. This is why when you be looking at shit like Beyond Scared Straight, or you look at people in prison and their origin stories, you see like, oh, that nigga, his mama never loved him. He never saw his mama, or his daddy was always beating on him. Like, nobody wants to be what they turn out, quote unquote, being, in terms of when we look at like the derelicts of society, the undesirables. We look at them like, oh, well, you know, he just couldn't get right. Oh, well, and try to compare and contrast your trauma to somebody else's, and like, oh, well, he should have known that that's what he wasn't supposed to do. Anywho, so getting back to that, the reason why the Batman and the Joker thing goes for so long is because Batman is always resisting. This is why remember in that scene, like what I was saying earlier, he was saying, I'm not a monster. Because the Joker knows what he's telling the truth. Like, I know what I am. I know I'm out here doing this. Do you know why you out here jumping off of buildings and got a mask on? Just take the mask off, Bruce. That's what the whole movie was like. Just tell the truth to yourself. just stop putting on this act. And if you want to, just join us. But you doing this whole fight, and now you fucking up everybody's flow. Like, this is why the Joker was like, he was like, I find it more fulfilling messing with you, because he was like, why do you want to kill me? He was like, why kill you? What would I do without you? He was like, if I'm gonna go back to ripping off some lowlifes. He was like, this is more fun messing with you, because now I found somebody who thinks he's not like us. That's why he's always messing with him. And Batman is always like, I gotta save Gotham. This is why and even if it's in connection to his mom and daddy getting shot and killed right in front of him by your boy, he's still not understanding, like, this is what led you to not have a full life. Instead of saying, I'm gonna take this into the best of my ability, I'm gonna transmute this into something greater. Just make Wayne Enterprises better. But you done took now all your daddy shit and then put all these you done put Alfred. You got Alfred over there, and you got what was his name, Mr. Fox or Mr. Morgan Freeman. Name not coming to me, but. Now you got him down underground making some Batmobile and goddamn Batarangs and shit. I remember when I was a kid, I had, like, for Christmas, I got the Batman cape. I got the Batman cape. I had a little black shirt. I had the brown belt. It was some little fake little Batarangs in there. I had the mask. I had everything. And then I was on the scooter. I was like, hell yeah. And then I was out there with my cape and everything. And then the more and more when I grew up, and the more I started reading comics, and the more I started looking at the movies, that's when I started realizing, like, the Batman ain't nothing but he's just a hurt individual that doesn't want to admit how he's hurt. And he's out here making himself busy instead of dealing with his emotions. This is where you get unresolved unmet needs, whereas nobody was, even if Alfred's still been there. You can't replace his mama and daddy. Even if Rachel showed up as a friend, you can't replace his mom and dad, and he never dealt with that. So going through all of that, this is why even in the Batman Begins, when he was going with Liam Neeson and Ra's al Ghul and all of them in the League of Shadows, even when he was going through all of that, he still had in his mind he still had a quote unquote ulterior motive, and he still. This is, we're not going to get into Ra's al Ghul or that, but he still was not completely coming to terms with, like, this is what made you the way you are, Bruce. It's okay. This is why, and this is when, in terms of life, this is why you have certain situations and circumstances in your life that test you. This is why you have certain situations and circumstances in your life that test you. This is why you have certain situations and circumstances in your life that test you. This is why you have certain situations and circumstances in your life that test you. This is why you have certain situations and circumstances in your life that test you. This is why you have certain situations and circumstances in your life that test you. This is why you have certain situations and circumstances in your life that test you. This is why you have certain situations and circumstances in your life that test you. This is why you have certain situations and circumstances in your life that test you. This is why you have certain situations and circumstances in your life that test you. This is why you have certain situations and circumstances in your life that test you. This is why you have certain situations and circumstances in your life that test you. This is why you have certain situations and circumstances in your life that test you. This is why you have certain situations and circumstances in your life that test you. This is why you have certain situations and circumstances in your life that And if you don't pass the test, you're not going to go past the cycle. This is why the Joker relates to quote unquote Saturn, because Saturn represents what? The cycles of life, the taskmaster. Like he's trying to, not him personally or as a being, but that's the energy of like you're going through cycles. And once you go through this cycle, you level up. Bruce is always coming out at night thinking that he solved the problem. He thinks right when he thinks the streets are clean, this is when Joker comes about. This is when another villain pops up. This is why he can't move past. So the thing about it is, going back to what we started off with, Batman, the Three Jokers. It deals with the three aspects of Joker: the clown, the criminal, and the comedian. And I'm only gonna put it that far, because that's why when people be like, three Jokers, what? That right there is all I'm gonna give you. That right there, this is a very quick read, very good read, very in-depth read, and it does put you in the context of what's going on, like what happens. Like what I said, it starts like what's going on, what's going on. This is why in the movie The Dark Knight, this is why he's constantly giving Bruce tests. He's constantly testing his. Remember, even in that interrogation scene, when the Joker was like, he was like, I'm not a monster. I'm just ahead of the curve. Ahead of the curve. Like I said, he knows. He's like, he understands it fully. That's why when you understand chaos and when you understand, when you really do delve into your emotions, you realize this is why everything had to be the way it was. Like when you look back on things and you are really able to truly sit with your emotions, this is why that's why that happened. That's why that happened. If you're trying to run away from your emotions, you're constantly pointing fingers. You're constantly blaming situations. You're constantly like a leaf in the wind. Like, oh well, I just go this way. And if the wind is blowing hard today, oh man, it was windy out here, man. Oh my God, it was a bad day. You're constantly doing that. When you delve into your emotions, this is why also, like what I said with emotional intelligence with a man, this is why, and a lot of women will probably agree with me on this. This is just my personal perspective and what I've learned and how I understand the feminine and masculine in relation to Batman and the Joker and the masculine and feminine mind. Like a woman, this is why a man is, and even in relation to that just hit me too. This is why the Batman is so serious. And then the Joker is like laughing, just hee ha ha, because he's fully aware. And this is not trying to blow no woman's head up. But I'm saying in terms of that realm, that's why the ovaries and the fallopian tubes have, I know this is going past books, but I said this is how I talk. This is why a woman's fallopian tubes and ovaries are inside. This is why they have to be safeguarded. This is why a man's penis and a man's testicles is on the outside. This is why we don't have breasts. This is why our quote-unquote bone density and muscular structure and all that is denser and more built for, how do you say it, impact, if you will, as opposed to a woman. Not to say a woman can't do what a man can do, but we're talking about genetics, biology, facts. So the key thing is, because she's emotional and energy and motions, that's just her nature. This is why the Batman has such a problem with the Joker. He can't see clearly because he's constantly angry. This is why in that scene, when as soon as the Joker said that and was telling them, like, you're just like me, they're gonna cast you out. You keep thinking that you're better than us. Even them, they're corrupt. So what are you really doing here? You over here helping them out. This corrupt cops even feeding the criminals in the city, like under your very eyes. You think you call yourself actually fixing shit out here? So when he said that, he was like, I'm not a monster, I'm just ahead of the curve. That's when he took them up and started beating them and putting them up against the wall. Like, and then that's why, and when he started getting into that, that's when he started, all right, you know what? Because the Batman knew he was out of line. This is why he took the chair and he took it over to the interrogation room's door, because he knew. And this is why Commissioner Gordon was running around like, you're going to kill the Batman. You're going to kill Joker. Batman, stop. Like, you're out here. Like, this is what the Joker wants you to do. You got to keep a level head. But the Batman can't see, like, he just made you snap because he's talking directly to that trauma point. He's talking directly to that little Bruce Wayne that started all this shit. That started all, like, you was happy-go-lucky, boom, 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 boom. And they show you in Batman Begins. Once he was in there and he was seeing the bats in there, that was foreshadowing that's what he was going to become. And he was already feeling scared in there. And because he was scared, that's why he led his mama and daddy out there like, man, I don't want to watch this anymore. I don't want to watch, I'm scared. Which is all fine and good as a kid, but that's what led you out there. And that's what got your mama killed. And he's never dealt with it like, is it my fault? Is it my, man, I should have been, I was a scared little kid, I should have watched. And no matter how many things, Alfred is always keeping him at bay. And but remember in the movie, Alfred is always trying to tell him, Bruce, you got to be you're beating yourself up. You out here doing too much. And Bruce is always like, he's really saying, I don't have a choice. No, you've locked yourself and limited your mind based on what you've been through. Like, this is how, and like what we're talking about, going back in the mind, and the mind going back and forth. Most people think, and I'm not above anybody, most people think that because we're out here and things may not look the way we want it to, or we're talking about trauma or or shit like that, that we have limited choices, or like we have limited way of viewing things, right? Just as the feminine mind, just as chaos, just as emotions represents unlimited possibilities in terms of what could happen, like go wrong, it's also unlimited possibilities as what could go right for you. This is when you really start to understand, like, why is the Batman always acting like he just can't listen? Like, everybody thinks like the Joker's like, oh, he's ready to blow up people, he's ready to kill people, he's ready to do all this. Of course, because that's what led him. But he's fully aware of, like, this is what I'm doing. Like, I know my wife, I couldn't pay for my son. My wife was pregnant. This is all of this going on. Boom, 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 boom. Point I'm trying to say. Let's get back to the premise. The Batman and the Joker is the constant interplay of what goes on in your mind. Because before any trauma came in your life, you were a kid. And as a kid, your only job was to be a kid. Your left and right brain were working in harmony. This is why your imagination, everything was real. Imagination and everything was real to you. No matter what came up in your mind, you was playing with imaginary friends, your soldiers, your race cars, your baby dolls and all that. You was doing all of that. And everybody will look at you like, he's a kid. He's supposed to think like that. And then part of growing up and maturing starts happening when we're like, put them toys away. Shut up in there. You being too loud while guest is over. Come in here and clean. All this behavior, all this adjustments to society, all these rules. Remember, the chaos of your mind and your imagination and everything, that's where you ruled. This is really what the Joker represents, and he's trying to get Batman, like, you have full control once you realize that. You have full control of your life, whether you think it's bad or not. Your emotions and why you don't want to deal with them is why, and this is why, and that's, we lead it right back. That's why when he was having him up against the wall, this is why he was saying, I'm gonna make you break your number one rule. Cause he was like, all these rules you got, all these things you keep putting up as pillars of your reality and how you structure your mind and the reasons why you do the things you do have nothing to do with anything. All these rules, they have to be broken. They have to understand why you're truly out here. And that's why I was saying with Alfred, the Joker can see clearly, like, this is fucking with your brain, Bruce. Like, this is messing up your mind. Like, I can see that you're out here. You really don't understand why you're still out here. You keep being angry and trying to fight people, and you're never satisfied. This can keep going on, but I'm always the one that's telling you like it is, Bruce. This is why even in the Batman killing joke, which I might even give, I can even recommend that, y'all, but that might be on a separate video. He's telling Bruce, like, I'm really your friend. This is why he really was in there, quote unquote, trying to get him at a level head. Like, since me and you at the table, I'm gonna tell you this right now. This is when the Joker really, like, became like a flat line, like how you say it, for lack of a better term, sober or grounded, or like at his base state. He's telling him, like, hey, Bruce, there's nothing, bro, you got this mask on and everything. Like, he's really telling him, like, all the way he needs to know. Like, you're out here wasting your time. All these rules you got going on. And because Bruce is constantly, like, thinking, like, you want to kill me. Like, how most of us look at situations and circumstances, like, oh, man, I can't catch a break. Oh, my God. He's really trying to tell him, like, you got a choice, Bruce. You keep thinking that you just have to be out here. You have a choice. So just not to overdo it, you know. This series is probably one of the best representations of the Joker and Batman going back and forth, and it goes really deep. I'm only relating Batman Begins, the Christopher Nolan trilogy. Batman Begins is the Batman origin story, and then you got The Dark Knight, which introduces the Joker and Harvey Dent, right? And then you got The Dark Knight Rises, which is Bane, Catwoman, but specifically the middle one. There's a reason why it's the middle one. Because that is the middle point between, okay, this is what happened to you, and then this is where you're gonna go going forward. I'm the one that's telling you right now what you got going on, and I understand this is why. And then this is when, even when the Joker is even in the movie, this is kind of like a breakdown of this and the Dark Knight movie. We can go through the Dark Knight movie, but even remember when he starts burning all that money and he sets all the money on fire and unleashes the dogs on those the other criminals or whatever, he's like, it's not about the money, it's about sending a message. Like, the Joker really doesn't, he sees, like, it's a complete clear understanding of this realm that we're in on Earth, planet Earth. Like, everybody goes through childhood, everybody has trauma. Everybody comes to that point at some point in their lives where they're like, it's going to be this or that. Either I'm going to have to face myself, or I'm going to keep going through the same shit over and over and over and over again. And facing yourself is why, what do they say? The 10% of your brain is what? The conscious mind. They say you only use 10% of your brain. The other 90, quote unquote, percent, the majority of your brain has everything to do with what I just listed. This is why a man makes the house. This is why a man is built for stress. Going out and dealing with the stress so I can have a safe place for my seeds to grow. I have a safe place to love the woman that I hold dear, right? But he has to go out and he has to take care of himself first. Then, taking care of himself, then is when he adds in other responsibilities of, like, this is what I want to build a life forward from. But that has mostly to do with what? Dealing with physical stress. The main shit that is literally gives life meaning is the imagination, the art. This is why out of all the stress, it don't matter if you're a man or a woman. You go to work, you're gonna feel stressed. You be in traffic, you're gonna feel stressed. You trying to get some food and they taking too long. You're gonna feel stressed. You ate some wrong food. Oh my God, my stomach hurt. I'm sick. You find a little baby coughing, or you find somebody sick at work. Oh my God, now I'm sick. All stress. Then your daddy done died. Your grandma in there, like everybody just, oh, she on life support. Oh my God, well, how are we gonna pull the plug? Does she have a DNR? What's going on? What we got going on? Everybody has bullshit. What unlocks the code and what cracks the code to life is dealing with the chaos, understanding everybody has an origin story, and you got to deal with your emotions. You got to face the music. This is why, and that's another reason why the Batman hates the Joker, because the Joker is whether you want to say he has a mask or that's what happened to him, whatever, he has a smile. And just like when it was like, why so serious, son, or whatever, even with that origin story, it's still it's the smile. Because what? Or really, him having the smile is the reason why Batman is always mad at him. Because he's like, what are you so happy about? Like, the Batman is like, man, I got so much shit to do. Like, we got to figure this shit out, man. I got to clean up these streets. And the Joker is causing havoc and out here laughing. Every time you punch him, he's just laughing. Like, what is so funny, man? Like, wouldn't that really make you mad? Like, if you really unleashing something on somebody, or you really got vengeance on, you finally got the culprit of, like, you done made me angry. And the person or the thing is like pretty much not giving in. It's literally like, this is how the scene ended. He was like, no matter how much strength you got, Batman, there's nothing that you can do that can break me. You can't convince me to be otherwise. I'm already at full realization of why I am the way I am. So that I'm just hitting it home, but y'all can tell that it's a really powerful back and forth between them two. Because at the end of the day, because that's, and it, even then, this shit's hilarious. As a man, you have a one-track mind. This is why we're built for stress, because at the end of the day, solving problems is what we're here to do. Not like, oh man, we're here to take care of women. But as a part of incarnating and your soul going through the process of being a man on planet Earth, you're supposed to figure out problems. You're supposed to figure out how to deal with your emotions. You're supposed to understand what the woman is like, not understand how to be a man. You'll only understand how to be a man by understanding the feminine principle. This is why a man with a that's why they say a man who findeth himself a wife findeth himself a good thing. Because that's when you've gotten to a point to where now you can handle that shit. Before that point, you had to go through all that. This is why women mature faster than men. Men have to go through that process of, like, oh my God, being stressed out, overeating, going through addictions, going through a whole bunch of bullshit, going through a whole bunch of, like, all right, now I got to figure out, okay, do I want a wife? Do I want some kids? Do I want some money? Do I want a place of my own? Do I want so-and-so, so-and-so? This is a part of the whole human experience. But being a man in terms of, like, dominantly masculine and having feminine, like just saying what a woman. Women are dominantly feminine, but have masculine principles in them. Everything has both. Everything has both. It's just a play on. That's where you get in the law of polarity. Like they say on the thermostat. What is hot and what is cold? Like, can you specifically say this is hot and this is cold? Like, there's some people who grew up in like sub 10 degrees weather. Boom, 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 boom. And there's some people whose places have never gone down past 30, maybe. And when you think about it, and you're in a spot where it's never gonna pass down 30, 50 degrees is still cold for you. You still coming out with flannels and damn pea coats and goddamn scarves and shit. Like, goddamn, it's cold out here. Meanwhile, the person who grew up and where it's always less than 10 degrees where I stay, 50 degrees is damn near beach weather. We out here with shorts, damn flip-flops. Like, I don't know what y'all doing out. Yeah, it's a little bit windy, but goddamn, I can take it. I can handle it. Same thing with the men and the women in terms of, like, not even the spectrum. It's literally the polarity in terms of the dominance in how would I say it? The majority and minority of the energies, pretty much. But it's still the same thing. This is why when we come together, we're one. So, only thing that I'm saying is, in that particular aspect, dealing with your emotions puts you in that state of quote unquote. Now you start getting something. Now that's when men quote unquote start to mature. You understand, like, this is a bunch of stress, or really anybody going through a bunch of stress and like, all right, man. Either I'm just going to spiral out of control, or we're going to have to get some shit going. We're going to have to put this in its proper place, wherever you're at. And facing yourself specifically and not pointing fingers is putting you in the state of like, all right, I know why I went through what I did. I'm not blaming myself. I'm not blaming nobody else. This is the cards, and then boom. This is why people say, oh, and another thing. I'm glad we talking on that. Excuse me. I'm gonna give y'all a personal anecdote and then we're gonna get out of here. Me and my sister, one of our favorite games growing up was Speed. If anybody ain't never heard of Speed, I'm gonna break the whole game down for you. So there's 52 cards in the deck. It's 2 players. So the way you have Speed is, let's just say this screen, boom, 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 is the table. You're gonna have 5 cards over here. You're gonna have 5 cards over here, and then you're gonna have 1 card in the middle of them. What's that? 12. That means you have 40 cards left. So whoever has the deck or whatever, shuffle them up, blah, 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 from the last game or took it out the box, whatever. Boom, 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 until you got 20 and I got 20. The way the game starts is you take 5 from your 20 and I'll take 5 from my 20. From that 5, you're putting them in order, the best order, or quote unquote whatever. And the key with Speed is to go up or down or to match, right? In number or whatever. Like you see in the game Solitaire, King, Queen, Jack, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, all the way down to 2, and then boom, 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 you got the ace, whatever. That's what it is. So whatever card has to be either matching or like going up or down with that or whatever. So the 2 cards in the middle is where we start, right? None of these cards is like, this my side or that's your side or whatever. You can put cards on either side, based on what the card is showing, right? Up or down, whatever cards based on what you got. Okay, cool. So if you, so the key thing about it is, if both of y'all run out and y'all ain't got no cards left, right? That's when both of y'all can pull from these both 5 cards, right? Like, I don't got nothing to put on this. You ain't got nothing to put on this, right? Even if I pull from my cards and I got 5 cards right here, I still don't have nothing. You don't have nothing. And then boom, we can pull from these at the same time, go, and then put it on them 2 cards in the middle, whatever the deck is, right? So if anything happens, that's cool. That's cool. You can keep going. You can keep going in the game, blah, blah, blah. The key is to get rid of all of your cards and then Speed, right? But what is the cards that can change the game. Anybody who's played Speed knows that the Joker card can change the game into anything. You can be down like, my God, like this nigga be on his last 5 cards, and then you over here like, I can't get nothing. And then you just watching him go up and down, up and down, up and down. And you like, man, once you get a Joker card and you slap that, like the Joker card to take possession of it is to slap it. Like even if you flipped it down, you still gotta slap it. If somebody hand get up under there and they slap it, oh, that's their Joker card. The Joker card is meaning you can put anything. You can start from anywhere. You could have been behind in the game, but whatever you got in your hand, if it was wrong back then, and then boom right here, it's the plot twist of the game. That's what it is. Anything can happen. It only takes one day to change the circumstances, bringing it back home. So in relation to that, only just telling y'all the impact of understanding the Joker's mentality and the reason why this is probably one of the best damn, I wish I had book 1. I didn't go back and buy. Oh, when I was reading it, when I planned on reading it, I had I got the ebook. I think I got it off of Amazon, and got it in Kindle. Quick read. What is well, yeah, we ain't gonna get a number of pages, but y'all get the gist. It's the DC Black Label. Batman 3 Jokers, written by Jeff Johns, and this is the animators as well. Jeff Johns, Jason Fabok, and Brad Anderson. And just showing y'all, this is beautiful art. Y'all can see that. You know, the eyeglass or whatever, and he's smiling, you know, the bow tie. And then this is also, look at him, you know, looks like, you can guess who that is with the mic, right? And looking, you know, with the tomato, you can already guess off of what that is. So yeah, just wanted to tell y'all, and I only wanted to relate this to the actual story because a lot of people get it confused. A lot of people keep thinking, and I'm not even really taking the Joker side, because at the end of the day, you are the Batman and the Joker is a part of the same thing. It's just a constant back and forth. But the key thing is, if you go through like, man, he's just like he's always getting on Batman, and you have a one-sided perspective, then that's practicing closed-mindedness. So I'm only offering a different perspective on the Joker and how it not only connects to our minds, connects to how our subconscious and conscious mind, but our subconscious mind projects into our physical reality. Because remember, and we're gonna leave on this, your subconscious mind has everything to do with, like what I said, intuition, imagination, creativity, but it also holds your emotions, your deep-seated beliefs, whatever you didn't know at the time, when it was a traumatic event or whatever, it still is recorded in your subconscious mind. The only reason why you know how to tie your shoes and drive your car is because in your subconscious mind, it was programmed through repetition. So even if you don't know how to deal with your emotions, and the source of those emotions has something to do with trauma, you're constantly burying it when you don't want anything to do with it. That means you're repetitively putting it down. That's why I said it only takes one day to snap back and let something, quote unquote, similar to that traumatic event that initiated that emotion resemble that and put you right back in that state, and put you right back in. And this is where you get people who are unlucky. This is where you get the proverb, the African proverb, an unloved child will burn down the village just to feel its warmth, because it never had love as a child. It never felt warmth. So this is where you get people who like, why would he go and do that? Why would she go and do that? 9 times out of 10, they're only because I didn't get attention when I was young or whatever. It could have done got to that so bad, like been abandoned and neglected so much you got to the point to where like, okay, since nobody showed me any attention, I'm going to make sure boom, 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 boom feels what I felt. Because nobody feels the way I do. I can't talk to nobody. I can't express to nobody. So, this is the only way I can get it done. And what does that sound like? The only way I can get it done means the only way that I know how to what? Express these emotions, put these energies into motion. This is why all of this is just constantly dealing with you being ignorant versus you being aware. The Joker is always trying to make the Batman be aware of your origin story. Doesn't make you anything different than me, nor these criminals you out here thinking you fighting or cleaning up the streets or whatever. Just say, not even saying just say you're a criminal. Just say you're in pain, Batman. That's all you gotta admit. Once you do that, that's when you admit it. The Joker was like, I already know I'm in pain. This is what my daddy did to me. This is what he was showing Rachel. This is why it's so serious, son. He used to beat me. This is when he took a knife, a razor, and cut my damn cheeks. He's telling you, like, I know exactly where this comes from. But because you deny it, this is why you out here wasting time. Doing some shit that's gonna be happening anyway. So, just wanted to give y'all a brief overview of that. Like what I said, it starts out with the Joker, and they're trying to figure out how these three murders take place at the same exact time, right? It's like instant chaos in everybody's mind. And that's where his figure is going forward and going through that process of, like, of course, the Batman. Who you got in there? You got Robin. I think you got Catwoman in there too. It's a good story, good read. I really wish they could make like an animated version of it, because it's such a powerful story. Even if you're not into the Joker and the Batman, even if you're not in the comics, I still highly recommend it, just because it does give you another view of it outside of Christopher Nolan's films. And it also does reflect, and it does really pull on your emotions, like, and it does really, it makes you feel for Batman, not in terms of like identifying with him, like, oh man, he's just like me. It makes you feel like the writing in it, the sequence of events of what happens in all three books, it does make you feel like if you was in this situation, you'll be feeling the exact same way. Like, because not to say that the Joker is like, he's just like, but that's what he represents. Anything goes, anything can happen. This is why when Batman, you can tame the chaos once you understand it. If you're not seeking to understand it truly, and you don't listen to it, this is why the Joker, when he told him in the interrogation scene, I'm telling you, you complete me. He literally told him the whole reason. This is why I do the things do the things the way I do. But the Batman is like, it's got to be something more. It's got to be. This is where our conscious mind, the left brain, stuck in logic and what makes quote unquote fucking sense, leaves you in the state of what people say, analysis paralysis, overthinking, just making things bigger than what they are. You literally use your imagination as a form of like, nah, it's got to be something else. When really, this is what it is. Like, chaos is very simple, but if you can only chaos is literally the same things happening, but in different form. That's all it is. There's nothing random. Everything has a cause. Everything has a cause. Every effect has a cause. And when you're an agent of chaos like the Joker is, he's only saying, like, he's really identified himself with the cause aspect. The cause aspect. Like, I know the source of why this is. This is why I know this is going to work. This is why in all his plans and stuff, his plans just keep on working. This is why even how the movie started out with Batman Begins, he has everybody on there. Nobody knows who the boss is. everybody's just been told, as soon as you go through this period, shoot your partner, and you're going to be promised the money. And nobody knows that at the end of all of this, I got all of y'all to do this for me. I'm going to be the last one shooting somebody, the Joker. So back to the premise and back to the books. I highly recommend. 6 out of 5 stars. Like what I said, I don't know if they're the same price right now, but at that particular time, printed on there, what's that? $6.99. So what's that? About $21, give or take, however, whatever taxes you got going on wherever the hell you at. So yeah. So just wanted to, damn, we had an hour. This is where we at. Hopefully that gave y'all a gist in what it is, because it does it, and like what I say too, it does give you more of an insight into Bruce's origin story, but also into the Joker's different origin stories and who the Joker truly is, like how, like, different forms of the Joker and different forms of, like, how it can come up in the story. Like, who are the 3 Jokers, right? Who are they, right? So, because right off the title, it's like 3. What? Where the other 2 come from? You even looking at it before you go in there. Everybody even going in there is like, there's 3 of them. Nobody's ever said any of this. So, I highly recommend this. Great read. I done told y'all the price, 17 and up. Do as thou wilt. Y'all be easy. Y'all be easy.